All right, so you know me, I usually don't tell people to share my videos, but it is really important that you share this video and pass this information around. It is really, really important. Now, I'm pretty sure you people know this guy.
When Monkey Face came to Benin, it was Obaseki's government that provided him with logistics to be moving about. We as Benin people should look beyond partisan politics because we must survive beyond partisan politics. Not that Benin people hate Oswe Ighodalo, but Obaseki is the problem. Oswe might be a good man, but his marketer is a bad person, Azadawa stated. According to Azadawa, he does not think the majority hate Oswe Ighodalo, but Obaseki is the problem of Oswe. He further states that at the beginning of the Obaseki regime, there was a cordial relationship between the palace and the state government. The palace supported Obaseki's initiative of an industrial park, Gele Gele Seaport, and other projects. When Obaseki started fighting the palace over Benin artifacts, the Benin elites kept quiet, instead of them to speak out. The Benin elites are the problem of the Benins as a people. Osarhodian Oghe is more wicked than Obaseki, because he was the one who signed all the atrocious documents against the palace and Benin kingdom. Before Obaseki came to power, Benin people were in peace and harmony, not as divided as they are now, but he came to cause strives and disunity. When Monkey Face came to Benin, Obaseki's government provided him with logistics to be moving about. We contacted IT expert to bring Monkey Face calls log. The people he was constantly calling were Huyinosa and government officials at Osardebe Avenue, he said. He also said other things as well as the way forward to unite Benins again. Please sit down and watch Mr. Azadawa as he explains everything.
So, instead of he could not unite his people, instead of him to even leave us the way we are. First of all, we want to recruit Arisco. The genesis of the matter. In a way that he started funding the Ogamian people. Why do you people think that Monkey Face, he doesn't get tired? Because he's been paid. Who do you think funded him? When Monkey Face came to Nigeria, it is Edo State government that provided him with logistics. So here I am when I'm a king. We get to an ICT expert to bring that all his call logs. And the nobody say, oh, you know, sir. What you know, pastor, that wicked bastard. You know what they're going to do? November 12, Monkey Face was in constant conversation all throughout the weeks he spent with government officials. Enabled. He got told we had to call logs. After we collected all the call logs, we started to use Truecaller to dial all the numbers. We started to use Truecaller to dial all the numbers. And we started seeing most of the people he was contacting. We're all in government house at Osadebe Avenue. That's the person that has been insulting us till now. A transformer. I think he's a bad person because I also would not be of the school of thought that he would have been the best governor because he hasn't been a governor before. But I also wouldn't be a school of thought that he would have been, whether he would have been a bad governor or a good governor. Time would have been able to tell because when you're not giving the baton of leadership, that is when people can really tell if you are good or not. But proficiency of one's communication should not be mistaken for one's ability to strive for development. There are people who are blessed with ability to communicate, while there are some people who are not blessed with ability to communicate. So English might be the lingua franca of Nigerians, but it is not a prerequisite for state or economic development. A lot of persons, I've seen a whole lot of professors back then in my university, University of Ilefe, or Bafemi Awolowo University. There were basically a whole lot of professors who could not really speak English. They barely could speak English without missing it for Yoruba. But when some of them were first class products, and some of them can be able, they really know the subject matter. But because of the proficiency of their language, or how they be able to communicate in English language, they are not able to communicate properly. But that does not mean they don't know the subject matter or the cause in view. So it is ignorance of people to believe that those, for the fact that I can speak English now, it does not mean that it's not a guarantee that I can be a good governor tomorrow. Or I can be a good manager of a company tomorrow. There are a lot of people who speak English. They are professors of English. They are professors of literature. But if you give them to manage any institution or manage any company, they will run it aground. Why there are some illiterates in the street of Aba, in the street of Onitsha, in the street of Upper Sakumba or in the street of Ogida. But if you give them a company to run, they'll be able to run them successfully. So I don't want the basics of we analyzing some of these things should not be based on how proficient someone is by mere expression of a language that is not even ours, a colonial language. So whether Ashwin would have been a good governor or Modern Pueblo would be a good governor or would have been a good governor, I don't know. It is not based on Noze Bose who can speak English. People should understand that. There are other parameters that I think people would have used to analyze these two persons, but it is not boiled down to English. Wickedness. And I will analyze all of that much later. Coming back to Ashwin, like I said, with all the parameters that we have on ground, it's possible that he would have been a good governor. But the point is that he had a bad marketer. And we were scared because when they were also bringing him to us in 2016, when they were bringing him to us in 2016, they also gave an assurance that he would be a respecter of the tradition. In short, in the first few months that he spent, a lot of protocols were broken. Don't forget, after he became a governor in 2016, in less than 3 months after Obaiwai was coronated, Obaiwai went to visit him in the government house. So there was a mutual understanding and mutual respect between the state government and the traditional institution. Edo State was developing at a high pace because the government, the policies of the government were in tandem, or the policies of the traditional institution, which is headed by the Oba of Benin, was in tandem with the policies of the state government. So everything was going smoothly. Don't also forget when the industrial park, Nomagimo Unoro, was launched. I think then Osinbajo came to Benin. And Oba of Benin was also there on several occasions because there were no bad bloods, there were no disagreements, and everything was working. Both institutions were working pari passu. They were working together as understanding that there is a need for the development. One of the key factors that was driving Obaseki in terms of constructing Gelegele Seaport was the Palace of the Oba of Benin. In short, it was originally the idea of the Palace of the Oba of Benin. Don't forget, that has been an economic idea of the Edo people as far back as 600 years ago. The Gelegele Seaport idea has always been part of the idea of the monarch over 600 years ago, because that was where the trading system was established. There was a city that was built within the region of Ugoton. A lot of people do not know this. Okay. But let me also bust your bubble. Where you call New Benin, inside Benin City, was not originally called New Benin. The New Benin that was regarded as a New Benin was at Ugoton, because it became the commercial hub of the then Benin Empire. So they created a kind of a commercial, like a free trade zone. I mean, a free trade zone, like a commercial zone within the interland part of the Gelegele waterfront, which is the water, and they named it New Benin. With all European counterparts, and a city was created, and it was called New Benin City. New Benin, the original New Benin was at Ugoton. So Ugoton, the Gelegele Seaport, has always been a commercial hub of the Edo people. So it was not a conceptualized idea from Obaseki's government. It has always been an idea of the Edo people through their monarch right from time inception. And that is what I can guarantee all of you. And that is what is invoked. So when Obaseki came, he had a robust meeting with His Royal Majesty on looking for how do we actually bring economic viability and development to the Edo people. And one way is seaport. The monarch invested quite a lot of money in it, just like the state government invested quite a lot in it. You know, there are some certain things that so that there can be common development that can give jobs. So that we can have an industry, a trading industry that creates job and employment for the Edo people, because the two institutions were working together. Then along the line, greed cropped in. When greed cropped in, some of us started to fight. Why were we fighting? One of the alarm that I raised at that time, if you people remember, was that the Benin elites were not talking. The Benin elites were not talking. It is because of the absence. The audio is not good. I'm shouting here. Clarify if the audio is not good. The Benin elites were not talking. It is because of the absence and the failure. In short, Ashwani Godalo should not even be greeting any Benin elite or any Benin elite. Ashwani Godalo should not have problem with his own one or any of us. Yes, or breaker. It's not breaking. So the Ashwani Godalo should be having issues with all these Benin elites. They are a bunch of failures. So I'm sorry. Very straightforward. They are the failures. Because at the time when this matter started cropping up, if you people remember, I was saying that why are the Benin elites not talking? The Benin elites could have put sense into Obaseki, and the matter wouldn't have escalated. What we're talking about, we're trying to make Obaseki an enemy because they were eating anything. They were eating something from Obaseki. They could not call him and advise him and guide him. That this is not a matter of politics. This is not a matter of politics. This is a matter of our traditional institution, a legacy that is bequeathed to us by God Almighty and our ancestors. We cannot destroy it on the frivolities of politics. He was supposed to be called. Everybody is saying is breaking. The network in man. Wow. What is going on? Let's observe. They say their network is fine. So when we put marriage, the network you wrote up. You understand? Well, let's observe. Let's observe so that we come, because it's going to be very interesting. So that people will know that we wanted to teach him a very hard lesson. And they are telling us that the hard lesson that we are teaching ourselves, the hard lesson. No, we are not teaching ourselves the hard lesson. So that water, you should like me. So that you understand? I swear to God, Almighty, and my ancestors. If Monday tries 10% of what Godwin did in my bank, I'm not a coward. I don't worship anybody. People should understand why we needed to send a statement out was that no, understand. So so what we were saying specifically is people should understand. That's why they didn't do us anything. We have nothing against him. I can. So how can we now hate someone who did not do us anything? We didn't hate him. And they are talking about, and I've been reading a lot of posts that we had to betray our own and be following Oshomole. That is the most useless words or statement I've ever heard in my life from a Benin man who, in spite, he saw what Obaseki was doing to our traditional institution. They all kept mute. Oshomole might down on you. The other time they were saying that he was lying. Yes, he was lying, and Omo gave it to him. We are going to address that matter much later. Benins, we don't worship anybody. I don't worship any of them. I don't know them in person, and they don't know me in person. If any of them misbehave, I don't worship any of them. Like I've said constantly, before now, since 2016 till now, I've never been to any politician's house that a politician had one, and I live very, very fine. So it is not about them. It is about nobody should blackmail anybody. When this whole matter started, we were crying that a matter. I'll give you an example. When the matter at City Community now at Upper Circle, when the matter of Ulego happened, if you people will remember, me, Imotia, and Comrade Osaze Edigin, we went to see the Iyase when the whole matter was hot. We went to see the Iyase that how do we calm this problem? The Iyase is an old man. Iyase wasn't even aware. That was the day I met a Sogman. That was the first time I ever met a Sogman in person. It was in the house of the Iyase. And when I met, anybody can come with the Osaze digging. It was me and him that went there. It was on Sunday morning. So we went to report, this is what is going on. How do we create peace on this matter? And the Iyase said that I should leave the matter to him, that yeah, and the Sogman will sit on the matter. And that was the day Sogman told me, the latest Sogman told me that, if you remember, I think I've said this story a couple of times. And that was how peace came to the matter, because I, as a Benima, understand that when things are going awry, we should be able to call ourselves together and quench it. If there were issues between the governor and His Royal Majesty, it was supposed to be the elite that was supposed to say, let's find a way to talk to Obaseki to come back to his senses. I was screaming on top of my lungs for years. Most especially Mr. Paul Ineweka. Officer, I have to tell him my mind today. I used to respect him. But I only respect people who stand for the truth. He's a man that has never seen anything that Obaseki has done as wrong. That kind of a man, in spite of everything Obaseki here with my own, he has never seen anything wrong about what Obaseki has done. He has never. Let him show. If anybody can show me any test, any post he made where he criticized Obaseki, or should I start listing all the atrocities of Obaseki against us as Benin people? He didn't say anything wrong. None of them did. None of them will be able to caution him and tell him, who died on Emma. But now they lost. They are crying. Why would they cry? Now they make the innocent as well to suffer the pain that they caused because of their unhealthy love for someone who is wicked, like Obaseki. Their unhealthy love for him. If they had advised him at that time, if they had cautioned him, candidate that since our son, the governor, is choosing this guy, and it is Esa's turn to rule, do you think that Oshomole's candidate would have won? You push your people aside. You neglected your people. You despise your people, except for the few ones they paid 90,000. You despise what they hold dear to their heart the most. You have utter disrespect for it. You don't respect that institution. Then you think at the end of the day, we'll clap for you. Then you think at the end of the day, we'll start clapping for you that you have done well. And this, we should not start be taking Panadol for cancer, because this is not a matter of headache. We have to go down to the roots of the matter. It has to go down to the root of the matter. That because Obaseki said, Yamagago, politician here. But, you know, I think I also, the fifth topic today is our diaspora people. Then it won your talk. Because our diaspora people actually look at some of us here in Nigeria as hungry people. Look at what they're saying. I saw so many of their posts on social media just now saying that since I go vote for APC, I come beg me for money. So do these people think the richest Nigerians are based in Nigeria? The richest Nigerians, they are domiciled in Nigeria. And you people should understand that some of us are not beggars. In short, a toilet work you say 150 years, some of us are not beggars. So you shouldn't be looking down on us and say that for what you say over there is what we should be doing, as if we are your puppets. Either way, it's supposed to be us telling you, because we are the one who is here. You cannot tell me I should not have a stake in the matter, the political matter of Edo State. Whereas when I'm a taxpayer, I pay tax to the state government, I pay tax to the federal government. So I have more stakes. I have more than 15 employees. I have more than 30 direct or indirect employees working for me that I pay salary at the end of every month. And you think you have more stake in the affairs of Edo State more than me? That I will not be listening to you on political matter, what concerns the survivability of my business or not. These are issues that I think that our diaspora people are so puffed up with pride of, because they say that they earn in 5,000, 10,000 euro. That then we should go and die. Come on. Please, our diaspora brothers or sisters should show us some respect. Saying in all of this, please, is that the problem that affected us with Udalo must be traced back to Obaseki. And while we are blaming him, we should also blame the Benin elite. Because when all of these matters were growing, none of them had the right. You can show me any publication that the Benin elite, if any of them came together and wrote an article, or they invited Godwin or invited Godwin and all of that, none of them ever did. All this polygyny can never suggested it for one day. They never suggested it to him. They never talked to him. They never advised him. They never guided him. And now they are saying that we should do what they are saying. I'm not saying everybody in diaspora, saying some of our brothers, could have been all of you. The way there for 1 week. They feel that in come to Mission Road, Ade Mission Road, Ade Forestry. So some people make 10 million in trade in Benin every day. Some can make a sale of almost 30, 40 million a day and make almost a profit of 5 to 10 million a day on the streets of Benin here. So if you are thinking that we are hungry people here, I'm not talking to all of you people. I just wanted, because of the way they sound, they just sound say, more than they go, hunger will kill you now. Hunger will kill you now. Okay, I go back to kill. So let's go beyond partisan politics. It is not about that. It is not about APC or PDP. Everybody get this thing wrong. It is not about APC or PDP. That was not the issue. People should understand it has nothing to do with those two political parties. It has everything to do with our common identity as Benin people, which Obaseki was desecrating every day. And nobody, even some persons that I respect, that I used to call mentors, who had Obaseki's ear, or who could have one-on-one. Yeah, second Obaseki, you're not taking that time. No wonder. Let's say someone said, what they were supposed to tell him, none of them told him. None of them were able to call him that will call. Why can't we do it this way, do it this way? Let's come to a compromise. After having to meet with you, we also go and see His Royal Majesty and also see how we can also relate with him and see how we can bring peace. None of them. If there is, let them show proof that they made moves. None of them. None of them. In short, they were even telling the people that there is no problem between the Obaseki and the palace, that we are the one who is trying to flare it up. They said there was no problem. Most of them. Some of them are saying it now, that there's no problem. That we are the one who's trying to flare it up. Not be mumuna. Okay, wama like Monday lude wawe gwazebo. But ebo mebe zena na, so I not be mumu. I be gwazebo. We're not foolish. We saw the letters that was written and signed by Mani Atemu, the deputy governor. All we are doing. If Obaseki was wicked, also I don't should be super wicked, because a letter ni now we are many assign as a Benin man. Don't you have respect for the very essence of your existence? Why can't you look at the face of the governor and tell him that I cannot sign this up? This is about our heritage. You know, one of my videos I said something. Even if the governor do not like the current Oba of Benin, was it enough for for him to destroy the kingdom. And now this and Paul, we're not saying that the creating of a traditional councils was for speedy development. You see how irrational that some of them think. You see why you should not take these people for serious. I don't even think that man was even getting anything from Obaseki. I don't think he had access to him. Government has, maybe. Because all of these people have now become so self-centered and selfish that they don't think about anything except themselves. That's the most greedy Benin man living. Last week, I heard some leaks and letter. It was published on Vanguard that the election should not be rigged. I was shocked that this election should not be rigged. Whereas, what issues were coming up at that time between the royal institution and the governmental institution, they all kept mute. Maybe because they were benefiting from it. I think so. You saw maybe mind in Obaseki. We should investigate this matter. Maybe they were the one giving mind to him that nothing happened. Where so that none make a contract in here. You know, Zame's son was who do not mean us well. Instead of Naya Gualo and I asked your full we that were not even supposed to be talking on this matter as young lads. We were not the one, we were not the only lone voices in the wilderness. When we have people we were supposed to be looking up to, that were supposed to look at this matter critically, find ways to settle. Instead, they were now accusing us that we are heating up the entire policy, that we're the one causing the problem, the commotion. What we simply did was just to take side, a side that we know is clear and clean of our conscience, because already there were already two sides drafted. Anybody could have taken any side, but we choose to take a side, understanding that that is our common shared heritage. Obaseki will come and go, but Oba Benin remains. And that decision that we took is not a decision born out of selfishness. We're about the only people fighting for this cause without under salary. Maybe you people should understand this. We fought because we believe in our institution. We believe that we cannot sacrifice our institution for PDP or APC. We believe that we cannot sacrifice our institution on the altar of partisan politics. That's what we believed, and we chose right. So let nobody blackmail anybody for making a decision of choosing his heritage. One thing, if they call all Benin manna, what are you proud of? Will any Benin man now stand up that I'm proud of PDP? The party that was not even formed by Benin people. Will anybody now come that I'm proud of APC? Since PDP rule, APC rule, what has been our benefit? Have we produced a president, or have we produced a vice president? Or have we produced a Senate president? I think the highest we have ever produced is chief whip, you know. Chief whip. Highest so I produce it. Chief whip. Then we are not fighting ourselves because of Obaseki now. In 3-4 months, you will see them in Shomole. In one function with transport 15 or a hotel. In Amoni who you no nisi aye. You understand? Yeah, Amoni san. You no nisi aye when whiskey of 1.5 million. Whereas you and I were supposed to have our back as Benin people. Our people should think. A webo, according to Akabama, a webo nor now when I ask money. Give me my own ni boya wine. Ni aya any this one was one. To an extent that a Benin man or a woman, because it feels that they're going Nigeria. Or they marry Nigeria, if we marry a Jewo in they are not finding a way to bring down our institution in order to up Godwin Obaseki, who will leave November 12th and probably will never visit Benin City again. And I cannot, every single body that I've had problems with has always been because of the palace of the Oba of Benin, not because of any politician. Not because of any politician. Who can make a politician? How can a reasonable Benin man choose Obaseki, Godwin Obaseki, more than his own heritage? It's appalling. I want us to see them and look at it. And I've also said, it is not in my place for EFCC to catch him. No fear for Oga. If they say that he's the best governor in the history of Edo State, no problem. So if his records are clean, I don't think he should be afraid of EFCC. But if his records are not clean, at the end of holding a public office, you should be held accountable. So EFCC will have to invite him. If he comes out clean, good for him. If he doesn't come out clean, good for him. But what I are fighting for is that why should we be quarreling amongst ourselves because of him? Is there any person that no meba tiebo bamba that Obaseki madrigo? Is there any person now who do not meba like them? In my barrier road, when all day anywhere. You have to play flight ticket or when all day. In my word do tiebo that he vouch that it got no Obaseki madrigo. A thief is a thief. It doesn't matter the magnitude of stealing. Oh yeah, all these politicians, all of them. So but yeah, because that is my heritage. I have no other thing that enshrines the very essence of my life. And that is why I'm so proud of it. So what I am talking about today is that I have always said it in all of my teachings that how can any man come to me and say that all the things that have gone wrong since the inception, since Obaseki started fighting the palace, that we all kept a blind spot to reach. So my heartfelt pain goes to Aswin Godalo. To be candid, he was deceived by a very bad person. And we have reliable information how many years it took Godwin to beg Aswin Godalo, to beg him to accept. If the information that Aswin Godalo now found out after he accepted, if he had knew right from the beginning, I'm sure he would not have accepted that Greek gift. I wish it no shomole or betting Luma Lumano. Oh yeah, and I'm a dear, well, you tell you told you, that way, Guaverio. Mona correct it. I don't think a full-blooded Benin man would want to choose Obaseki against his traditional heritage. Let's assume. I always say this all the time. Let's assume that, okay, you don't like Oba's style of governance, but why can't you protect the throne? Why can't you protect the throne? My own is that the throne at all times must be protected, whether we like it or not. All these people, you know, now the question you should ask yourself on the matter of Obaseki. Now, Obaseki will leave the government by November 12th. Oga Ayeware. Oga Gikpa, do you think that Obaseki can come to Benin and win his unity? Do you think? I want you people to go and sit down and answer that question, that when Obaseki leaves the government, do you think he can come back to Benin and be able to have a say amongst the Benin? Why? Why do you think, in spite of when Oshomole lost his power, when he left the government house, he still would be able, Esako till date still love him? Because only say why Obaseki manyi say why. Obaseki would have gathered the Benins and unite us. Yes, you can criticize Tony Kabaka for all that you can, but anyway, you boniage. All those people needed was to be guided. In every society, you have different types of people. You have the intellectuals, you have the non-intellectuals, you have the gra-gra. As a leader, you bring everybody together for the purpose of growth of your land. Otherwise, if it had united the Atoni Kabaka with no more less, you can strip those over incessant powers that they have, which the Benins were complaining of, and teach them on how to earn more decently. They will start to earn more decently. You have their loyalty. Do you think if he was able to do that, if he was able to remote the set of their Kabakas and the rest and shaping them properly in a way that they will no longer be harassing also their people or the people of the city, do you think that Oshomole has power to leave his own Esako land and have overbearing influence? Because the fact that we, the Benins that are located here, Niwarutedu, Mamaye school, illiterates, Mamaye Nosunu, some of us have not been able to, my soul, Mamaye fear or Egbira, are not exposed. So the set of Benins he was working with were the ones that were in Abuja and Lagos. Those set of Benins that have basically nothing to offer. Those set of Benins were at the least any mere 5 people near never canvas no voting here, no voting Obaseki. Obaseki could not unite his people. Oh man, united man, ne madame. Oh, they see my in my year. Oh man, united man, madame. Oh, they see my in my year. Why okay? Oh man, united man. If they were little disunity, any makawa ye okay. Oh, they see my wa. Instead, he was fighting on how to break us into. He succeeded because in my now, I was even hearing some people. Yeah, Mizodu Wawa. I send to address him. Meredo Wale. So instead of it, he could not unite his people. Instead of him to even leave us the way we are. First of all, we want to recruit Aristo. The genesis of the matter. In a way that he started funding the Ogiame people. Why do you people think that Moki face? He doesn't get tired because he's been paid. Who do you think funded him? When Moki face came to Nigeria, it is Edo State government that provided him with logistics. So here I am when I'm with King. We get to an ICT expert to bring that all his call logs. And the number say, oh, you know, sir. What you know, ne pastor that wicked bastard. You know what they're gonna do? November 12th, Moki Face was in constant conversation all throughout the weeks he spent with government officials. Enabled. He got told again, man, we had the call logs. After we collected all the call logs, we started to use Truecaller to dial all the numbers. We started to use Truecaller to dial all the numbers. We started seeing most of the people he was contacting. We're all in government house at Osadebe Avenue. That's the person that has been insulting us till now. Okay, Rona, there a transformer. Your master the transformer. Okay, no time. Okay, was one transformer na table to aga to election. With that call logs. So you know, number was one of the most frequently died number. The Moki Face contact already. Okay, the suspended in Ogwa, that Ovi Oboni, or what Ationi. Okay, Prince of Benin with Facebook was contacting all of those persons. We have the call up. So when we are talking, we are not talking because we wanted to get sympathy. Sympathy for what? We saw what this man did to us because I didn't get the artifact. Why? Because you were not allowed to take what does not belong to you. You want to care about the kingdom, and you think that the Benin should be coward enough to not say that we needed to teach him a lesson. That any single person that attempts to humiliate or insult the palace of the Oba, we are waiting for that person during election. Say anything you want to say, whether it's Oba is a palace is PDP or APC or Labour Party or Boom, we are waiting. Because you think you have that power. How does it feel now? How does it feel now? You thought you were going to live forever. I like Botin. Nobody can be in power forever. These were the things that we were talking about. If our people had cautioned him, this some of these diaspora people, some I have very good diaspora. Almost all my friends are diaspora now. What's up? Some no, because of some of them, they now use that mentality to generalize that all the Benin families. Family people should understand that. I'm the last one of my mother. I work very hard for my money. Again, you might this one as well. 2020, yeah, oh, kill the day. You might want misbehave. Yeah, one win 2020. He didn't show his true color at that time. I at home we were hearing fillers. We're hearing fillers. No, 2 years. I use it 2 years. It be my guy. It be my guy. So, and you think we'll not be happy about that? Ashen Godalo was just a victim of a terrible circumstances. If he had had someone who had sat him down and told him of all this, he would have not have accepted to be a governor. I swear. Well, even the guy, he confessed in one of his popular dissing that he felt maybe it was just a slight problem. After he has entered, he now discovered that it was in a deep shit. In the task there, shit. The guy in loud or deep, he said the current state of the shit near why. So we need to teach him a lesson. And our people are saying that we are foolish because we needed to make a statement that on no account should any Edo man, whether Benin, Esan, Esako, or one attempt to insult our royal institution. Otherwise, a deep boyonge ogari and a deep boyonge sending on us or you leave. 2 weeks ago, I told me where you leave. This should why I've told our people to concentrate now on how we can unite. I bet you know where you talk how we cannot begin to see ourselves as brothers once again. And how we cannot begin to find a way of uniting ourselves. We're not begging anybody to unite with us. Let it be very clear. But thank God for Sanu doesn't even cow. Inado shofuru yotedo ne. Okeke ni maya that we cannot longer be fighting ourselves. We have enemies all around us. The issues of Godwin Obaseki should no longer be our priority anymore. We have played our own part. We should leave the rest for God and our ancestor to finalize. So we should start talking about how we need to unite. We should start talking about what we need to do to unite our people and unite our land. And we should start understanding that the royal institution is our safe haven.